YB stays on your neck.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So as you've all seen by the title of this video and on your screen now, Daniel Dubois has sent a shot to Tyson, Pillow Fist Fury, and I think it's quite fitting, to be fair. I do think it's quite fitting indeed. So this is what Dubois said. If I was to fight him down the line, I would not only focus on his right eye, I would focus on every weakness I could see and tear him apart. The fight did prove that he has weaknesses. There are always chinks in everyone's armour. I don't feel that far away from fights like that, and then until then, I am just collecting all of these belts, with the Commonwealth getting added to my British soon. Now I'm starting to like this dude Dubois, not only because he's talking a bit more, but more to do with the fact of his performance against Gorman. That did it for me. Not that Gorman, but for me it was funny because everyone was gassing Gorman up. Oh yes, oh Nathan Gorman, oh Tyson Fury's cousin. Oh he's gonna box Daniel Dubois' head off. Oh yes, everyone was getting truly gassed off of that. So to see him march in there, put a stiff one down the pipe, and my man just on his back, legs in the air, cheaphooker.com, he got did like that. That's how he got did. Don't come in and be mad at me. You need to go and talk to Gorman. Go and ask him where his head movement was. Go and ask him where his defense was. That's what you need to do. Don't come at me, because I'm not his trainer. Yeah, simple as that. No doubt. Anyway, the reason I think this is quite... Before I talk about the Daniel Dubois part, let me mention this as well. The key thing I took from this is Frank Warren is getting ready to cash in Tyson Fury. He knows, number one, he knows Tyson Fury is shot. That's what he does know, because if he knew that Tyson Fury was going to be beating AJ and beating Wilder, he wouldn't be telling... You got to remember, maybe it's me being conspiratorial, but Daniel Dubois, he's not a guy who's going to be calling people out for nothing. I've heard from good sources, Frank Warren went to Dubois and told him, listen, Fury is finished. Never mind. Frank Warren don't want to put him in there with Wilder now. You've seen what Frank Warren's saying. Frank Warren did a video saying, "Oh, I'm not going to put Fury in there until he's 100% ready, and I'm not going to put him in there until he's 100% healed." Because what he means to say is, he's not going to put him in there with Wilder because he wants his man Dubois to be the guy to knock him spark out. That's what he's telling you. And do you think it's pure coincidence that the minute that Frank Warren realised Fury's shot, all of a sudden, Dubois coming out and talking about, "I'll focus on the right eye." These are in the same camp, by the way. This is like a Coley coming out. Let's get it right for 1 second, please. This is like a Coley coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, AJ lost against Ruiz. I'm gonna stick it on AJ. I'm gonna put him down 5 times in this time." See what I'm trying to say? That's what it's like. That's exactly what it's like. Someone from Matchroom Camp coming out and saying, "Oh, look how AJ got done. I'm gonna hop on that." Even Dave Allen weren't talking about what he was going to do. He didn't do a damn thing, that's why. But you see what I'm trying to say? These guys, especially, I almost feel that the Frank Warren, they're normally tight-knit. They normally carry the party line. So for me, this has been signed off by Frank Warren. Mainly because he didn't want Wilder going in there. Because we know now, if it wasn't a mystery before, we know. Anyone with a brain, anyone who's not a Fury fangirl knows Wilder's going to walk across that ring and throw the right hand a few times. It might take him a few rounds, but he's going to throw it, and one of them's going to clip Fury, and that's going to be all she wrote, because my man was going life and death, and I've shown you the stats, yeah? I showed you the stats, I've showed you the recording of Fury begging Bob Arum not to send YB the stats from CompuBox. He had his worst fight, he got the most shots landed against him in any of his fights against Wallin. Wallin was the first man to hit him 135 times or something like that, 137 times. The first man in his whole career. If you think that's by chance, oh no, but YB just because of the cut don't make you get hit more times. Simple as not by Wallin anyway. Oh well, YB Wallin was the fastest man. Wallin was slow, no power, no combos. The worst thing is for me is actually I didn't even mention this. I'll probably do a video on it in its own right, but go and actually look at the Wallin punch stats. Type in Fury versus Wallin CompuBox. Look at Wallin's punches. He was outputting 25, 30 punches a round. So for his output, bearing in mind the heavyweight average is around 40, 42 or something like that. That's the heavyweight average. Wallin was doing 25, 27 punches a round. So Wallin wasn't even outputting many punches, and still he hit Fury more times than he's ever been hit before. That is worrying. It's not as if you can say, well, YB, he was throwing 50 punches around, so of course no, he weren't throwing many punches at all. Not many at all. And Fury was bashed all over the place, by the way. Anyway, listen, as I mentioned at the start of this video, Frank Warren, Daniel Dubois, they smell the blood in the water, and rightly so. Daniel Dubois, I'd put him in there now with Fury. I would, because the worst happens. The great thing about fighting Fury is, and I've always said this, even before Fury was scientifically confirmed as being shot, I was the one shouting from the rooftop saying, everyone might as well get in there with Fury, because the worst thing that happens is that you lose a decision, and you take probably 5 jabs more than you gave out. That's how it goes. If Daniel Dubois got in there, the absolute worst case scenario would be, oh well, yep, I landed 30 jabs in the whole fight, or I landed 100 jabs in the whole fight, and Fury landed 105. That's as bad as it gets. It don't get no worse. It don't get no worse than that. You know, oh well, Fury put me down. Fury can't put down Wallin. Never mind the beast in Dubois. Does that make sense? And you know, man can be sour. Oh yes, but Tyson Fury hitbox Daniel Dubois' head off. He'd get a right hand down the pipe. That's what he'd do, and he'd be on his backside. That's what he'd be doing. About he'd box his head off. He'd box no one's head off. Yeah, simple as that. And that's the first thing anyway. I feel that Fresh Eyes has put the word out. Listen, he told Dubois, listen, Dubois, I'm gonna keep Fury away from Wilder, and what I'm gonna try. This is what I've got. This is what I've got in my mind. How they're gonna try and do it is this. Fury's cut's going to recover, yeah? And then, once his cut's recovered, in about 6 months' time, or however long it takes, they're going to miss the February date for Wilder, for sure, in my opinion. They're going to miss that on purpose. They're going to miss that because of Frank Warren. And then, about March time, when the cut's recovered, Fish Eyes is going to say to Fury, you know you want to fight Wilder? I think you've been out the ring too long. What you need to do is, you need to have a comeback fight, but we don't want to fight it stiff. What you want to do is fight someone like Daniel Dubois. You know, he's young. He can bounce back from the loss. And you'll say it to Fury. Get him gassed. Yeah, look. Imagine if you knock out, imagine if you, yeah, you probably stop him. You know how never mind AJ. You know how stiff Dubois is. Yeah, he's stiff. Go in there. Teach him a boxing lesson. And that will prepare you for Wilder, because Dubois got a big right hand as well. That's how he's going to sell it to him. I'm telling you now, I've heard from people within the Frank Warren camp, that's how it's going to be sold. And Fury's going to be all over it. Oh yes, and they're going to market it on the basis that Fury is going to get one back for his cousin. What's his name? What's the man's name? For Gorman. That's how they're going to market it. Bottom line, that's the marketing strategy. The YB's already confirmed it 100%, no doubt. That is how it's getting marketed. 100%. And that's what they're going to do. And then he's going to go in there, and as the YB called it, Fury is going to end up in a 50-50 war with Dubois for a few rounds. And after about 7-8 rounds, he's going to be on his back. And that's all she wrote. And Frank Warren will be counting the cash, because then he'll have his little mini AJ. Well, he won't have a mini AJ, but he'll have something bigger than Fury, because the Fury's always limited in terms of his pulling power, because he don't knock no one out. But Dubois will be then bigger than Fury in terms of pulling power, because he's going to be in between Fury. No, he's not going to be in between, but he's going to be above Fury and about 10 levels below AJ, but still, on that, you know what I'm trying to say? Anyway, that's the first thing. The next thing I want to mention, the other reason that Frank Warren is going to set up this Dubois fight, not only is he going to set it up because he's realised Fury's shot, and he's realised Fury can't beat AJ, and he's realised Fury can't beat Wilder, he's also going to set it up because he knows the writing's on the wall in terms of the promotional deal. He knows that Fury, much like Billy Joe Saunders, is looking to sneak out the back door to Matchroom. And this is actually probably more important than Fury being shot, because even if Fury is shot, Frank Warren could still make money off of the Wilder fight and still make money off of the AJ fight. Put him in there, 2 losses. That's not bad. If he loses against Wilder and then loses against AJ, it's not bad. Still going to bring loads of money in. But what the reason that Frank Warren's setting this up is because he knows he's not going to own them 2 Fury losses. Fury's going to Matchroom, so he's thinking to himself, wait there a minute, before Fury skips town, I need to take his clout, aka put him in there with Daniel Dubois. And that's what makes pure sense to me, because everyone knows now the gig's over. Probably 2 years ago, there was a lot of banter. People could sit there and argue the toss. Oh yes, Frank Warren, oh, he's the best promoter. Yes. Oh, Frank Warren. He's the best promoter. He's much better than Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's a slimy man. All this business. You could probably argue it, but now, 2 years later, $1 billion down the line, there ain't no arguing it. Fish Eyes is sour. Bob Arum's sour. Eddie Hearn winning. Sour, sour winning. That's how it goes. That's the truth of it. If you really want to know, that is the truth. And there's no fighting it, because before, people could talk about Billy Joe Saunders. Billy Joe Saunders is with the A side now. How long do you think it's going to be long? Fury already, if it wasn't for Fury begging to fight bums, Fury would have already signed with Hearn, by the way. Hearn's the one who refused to let him fight 20 bums, and rightly so, but may I add. But now they've got all the bums out of the way, Matchroom will sweep him, take Fury off the top, so that's why Fish Eyes is going to try and pull off this master move, and I'll tell you now for free, if he does get this fight locked in with Dubois versus Fury, I'll take my hat off to him. I won't even expose the fact that he's setting Fury up, because I won't want to put Fury on the scent. I won't even do no videos on it. I'll wait until the fight's the day before and I'll mention it then. Because I want to see that fight, I really do. I wouldn't mind seeing it now, just for pure banter. Just for the purest banter. 100%. And anyway, before I finish this video, let me talk about how I think that fight goes. Listen, in fact, I've already given half the gig away here, but Dubois would I'm sorry people, and you man are going to be sour hearing this. Oh yes, Tyson Fury boxing. He ain't boxing no one's head off anymore. He really ain't. Oh, the cut. Don't keep talking about the cut. Since when do cuts turn your legs off? That's what I do not understand. Fury had a world-class set of legs. They don't just disappear because you've been cut. Do you understand that? Oh, someone said, oh, well, we had to stand and trade with him because he couldn't see. Isn't that the stupidest thing to do? If you can't see, the worst thing you can do is stand in front of someone. Is it not? The best thing, surely Fury, if someone's struggling to see, surely you should try to be more elusive. You should try to move your feet more, as to not be hit, as to avoid being in the pocket. The pocket is where the pocket is the one place in the whole of a boxing ring where you're in danger of being hit. So how is it safe to be there when you can't damn see? It's safe to be out of range. It's safe to step in, pop a jab, step back. That's what he could have been doing. It's not as if that's what he's done his whole damn career. It's not like I'm telling him to do something he ain't done before. In fact, Fury did something he doesn't do, in as much as he stood there and he traded. AKA shot. All Fury had to do in this fight is get the cut and then box smartly, jab, back out, like he always does. My question is, why couldn't he do what he always does? Shot. That's the answer to that equation. If you thought it was a bit ambiguous, the question I was asking. He's shot, and if you don't think he is, you need to explain why he was standing toe to toe. And don't give me the whole, oh well, he couldn't see. As I've explained, that don't make no sense. It don't make no sense at all. Not even a bit. And it was one thing as well. If Fury had stood there and traded and stopped walling, we could sit here now and say, listen, he got the cut and he thought, you know what, I can't risk it. Let me stop this guy. He didn't stop anyone. He didn't hurt anyone. He just went life and death for the sake of it. And as I mentioned, he didn't actually go there for the. He didn't do it for the sake of it. He did it because he shot. That is that. Bottom line. Don't no one at me on this one. He is. And then the next fight that happens, you're going to see it. And I'm going to come on here again until I told you so. And actually, before I go, I want to spend some time talking about Daniel Dubois because I don't really do many videos on him, so I thought I might as well make this a bit of a long one. Listen, I actually, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I didn't really warm to him much. I was probably one of the people criticising him not talking much. However, as I also mentioned, the fact that win, cold, collected, he weren't having none of it in there. He weren't looking to play no games. He weren't looking to mess about. And that is, I rate his attitude, I do. I rate his attitude. And I just hope, as he gets more money, he don't go like everyone else does. He don't go moist. I want to see him keep that. No, he seems to be level. He seems to be level-headed enough. He seems to be proper like not. He's not simple, but he comes across that way. But that there turns me on, to be honest. You know them ones there. It's like them ones. It's you get them simple people who they kind of they don't know how strong they are. Them ones there. They're proper like just on it, bang on it all the time. Just don't take no business. Them quiet ones there. They're the ones you got to watch out for. And I rate that. This man's on it And keep on, and if you ever hear this video, keep on it. Keep be more nasty in there. And actually, as I mentioned, the whole being quiet stuff, that does it for me. As I mentioned, it gets man gassed. Silent killer. Go in there. This is the thing. People don't. Gorman was talking about. Oh yes. Oh, Daniel Dubois. I did this to him in sparring. I did that to him in sparring. Yes, sparring. Oh yes, sparring. Oh, I boxed him. I boxed his head off. Oh yes. He was talking all his business. Listen, all I know is he got in there. And there was Gorman weren't worrying about no sparring no more. When he tasted that power, he weren't worried about no sparring. He weren't worried about nothing. Not even a bit to do with sparring. In fact, I heard, in the ring, Gorman said to him, just like McGregor did against Khabib, he said it was just promotion. The tape's there. Gorman was saying to Daniel Dubois in the fight, just like Muck Tapper, it's just promotion. He didn't want to be there. Gorman wanted to be anywhere but in the ring with Dubois, and rightly so. That makes Gorman a smart man, a very smart man. This man's dangerous. Dubois is dangerous on his game, and actually his conditioning as well. People have questioned his conditioning. He had a few spurts in that fight, and this is what I don't get about AJ. AJ has a few spurts and his wheels fall off. A few spurts and he's gassed. This Dubois is as big as AJ, if not, in my opinion, more stiff. I think AJ's 1-2 is similar to Dubois, but I think AJ's inside shots are better. But what I don't get is AJ has one good spurt and he's done. He's gassed out. This Gorman versus now AJ's fighting high level people, agreed, but still, it's the output. Dubois was loading up and throwing everything, but his gas tank didn't completely deplete, and he didn't end up falling around the ring. And for me, it comes down to training. I'm sorry, it comes down to bottom line training. And these guys here, I know Dubois has been associated with Team GB, but he ain't there all the time. He's working with, I've got the guy's name, but that's annoying. But he's working with I've got the name of the gym, but he's working down there. I'm gonna have to think of the name now. It's gonna piss me off. What's it called? That's bare annoying. It's gonna piss me off. I can't remember the name of it. Either way, he's training there, and he's in the gritty gym, and he's working hard. He's on it. He ain't got all these sports science men coming round you, blowing your head up. Oh, AJ, don't worry about working hard. We've got an easier way for you to do it. That's what they tell you. They tell you they've got an easier way to do it. That's how they get in. Oh, don't worry about that. I've got all this technology. I've got all these special ways of doing things, which means you don't have to work as hard. That's how they sell it. I've been there. I've seen it. They try and sell you the dream. That's how they get in. When it comes to being fit, there's nothing that beats hard work. Clean work, yeah?